Okay. Why is my camera not focusing? There we go. Welcome back, folks. Today, I'm going to be discussing a few things in this video. Firstly, a trade recap, or two things on the agenda is going to be the trade recap and some frequently asked questions in my comment section. So I'm going to try to clear up some of the confusion or some of the questions that you guys have. Um, so let's jump right into it. Right. So a question that I get often in my comment section: what indicator do I use? Okay. These are the indicators that I have saved as my favorite. There's a ton of great ones. This one by Promuck Cash, Promucka. I'm gonna just call him that. Call it that. There's also DMNS ICT. Any one of these is good. I don't do anything special to the indicators. I just use the levels. I don't use the accumulation, manipulation, distribution. I don't use any of the fancy things. These two indicators for Goldbach levels work fantastic. Okay. I also have the swing points for all of my people that are tracking time. This is the swing point indicator, by AJMD. It marks out the indicators. You just gotta remove all of the extra features that he has around the swing points, and just keep it simple with the little circle and the low and the high. Just keep it like that. That's the other indicator that I use. Um, Another question that I get frequently is the levels. Why sometimes my levels look different from your levels. The only thing that I do different is that I shift the indicator sometimes. Okay, that's the only thing that I do different. So for for the for this indicator, there's a half shift option. So sometimes in my videos, you will see that I'm half shifting it either down or up. You just gotta really look at price action and be able to tell, like, okay, I want to look at it from a half shift down or a half shift up. It's really subjective to the person using the tool. Um, but don't get confused by this. Some indicators do a zero point 0.5, some do negative zero point 0.5 to get the half shift down. So you could use it to kind of see, are you in the discount, are you in the premium, how far up. If you're all the way in the discount, you maybe want to shift up so you can kind of see the view from above. That's kind of the way that I use it sometimes. But I don't want you guys to get too caught up on half shifting. But this is kind of what I do. You don't need it, but it's just another method to kind of see where you are in between your levels, because all these levels are stacked, right? Because they're stacked on top of each other. You know what I mean? So it doesn't really matter if the levels are all basically the same in terms of your EQ and the high and the low. The high of another range is going to be the low of the upper range. So don't get confused with the half shifting. If When you get comfortable, you will know and start to understand when you should be half shifting. Okay, so don't get confused by that. Right. So we talked about what indicators I use. Right. We talked about half shifting. Why sometimes my charts look a little bit different from you guys, right? It's because of the half shifting. Sometimes I'm moving it higher or lower. And what else do you guys ask about? Let's check the chat. First of all, shout out to all of you guys. You guys are awesome, showing the channel support. I'm happy that I'm contributing to the community and kind of helping people get their feet wet with Goldbach. I'm still a trader. I'm still refining my strategy and getting better as we go. So I'm trying to kind of fill in the knowledge gaps for a lot of the new traders, um, while also deepening and refining my own knowledge of Goldbach. Okay, so I just answered this question: how you configure the indicator and talk about them. Um, when we go back, it was price was outside, meaning very premium. Put the 79 level in configuration, but I heard you say in the beginning market opens. Okay, so we could talk about that also, right? When, how do I know um, when to size up in my PO3, right? That's an important question that a lot of new traders um, kind of want to understand and want to know. Okay, when price is expanding, meaning that it's creating higher highs and moving into new ranges, you want to um, expand into a higher PO3, right? Right, because that means a higher time frame trend is occurring, right? When price is expanding on a longer time frame, you can use the higher PO3s to kind of gauge what's happening on a greater scale, right? Hopi Plaka explains in his book which PO3 to use for whatever scenario. The smaller PO3s are good for scalping, are good for 5 to 10 points, 20 points. The larger PO3, like 243 and 729, they're more for intraday and what they call short-term trading, which is like swing trading, right? So if you want to be a swing trader, you want to use a PO3 that's higher, like 729, 2187. Those are great for kind of identifying where you are in the larger range, right? If you want to hold for hundreds of points, that's the PO3 you want to use. If you want to do intraday session trading, New York session, Asia session, London session, you want to default to a smaller PO3 so that you can have a nice range to work within to kind of frame your ideas, your entries off of, right? Because imagine trying to frame an entry using this intraday, right? Like it's going to be difficult, right? Especially if you're not entering to hold for the entire completion of the algo. So for me, I'm an intraday trader, so I lean specifically towards using the smaller PO3s like the 243, and every now and again I'll glance at the 729 to kind of see on a longer term where and how the price is moving, right? So that's the difference between the PO3 and when to use them. 243 is for more intraday sessions trading, Asia session, London session, New York session, etc. And then the bigger PO3, 729, 2187, I think it is, you use that for swing trading, right? But I don't really swing trade, so I don't have a use for the 729. And the way I trade, I can execute using just the 243 PO3. Okay, so that's an explanation about the PO3 sizes, when to use a bigger PO3. When you see prices moving fast and expanding quickly, you can switch to a higher PO3 to kind of see what's playing out on a higher time frame, because at that point maybe a higher time frame algo is being set into motion, right? So that's when to use it, and explains why we use certain PO3s versus other ones. Okay, so I think I answered all the questions that I got in my comment section about the indicators that I use, the setup that I use for my indicator, right? It's going to be a little bit similar, right? You're going to have a bunch of settings. You could just use whatever PO3 that you're comfortable with, right? You want to be looking for the half shift option. And if when you feel comfortable, you can half shift up and down at your leisure to kind of get a better idea to frame your trades, right? Um, and yeah, I don't really use too many of the other features that come inside the indicator, so I don't, I can't really tell you what to do with that. All right. So to get into today's price action, the Discord cashed today, big money. This is how I made upwards of 4.5 grand today. 4,500 cashed. As you can see, cash today. Big money, big money, big money. This is an express account. This is not evals. We made good money today. Looking to close out the month. It's some profit, right? I'm going to go into a trade recap, kind of explaining the idea on how I approach today's price action, because I think it'll be very valuable um, on how I'm framing my trade ideas, and I think it could be very useful. So let's get into that. Okay, let's hit the market replay real quick. 45, let's do 30, 9:30. Drop down to the 1 minute time frame. Okay, so when coming to the market, you want to approach the market open with where are you in the range. It's very important to approach and to come to an understanding about where are you. Because if you don't know where you are, you cannot figure out where you are going. It's like anything in life, okay? If you do not know where you are, you cannot understand where to go. So, Eli, where are we? Excellent question. I have an indicator, but it's just an indicator that plots the 71 level, which is also the 29 level. Okay, that's not to be confused. It's a GB level that I have. It just plots out the 71 in each range, right? That's all it's doing. Don't get confused. This is not nothing. It's still GB levels. The way I use it is that before market open, I like to see where are we compared to these levels, right? Because the market likes to tap one of these levels before making its move, right? So this is kind of how I'm building my idea of where we are, right? Like I said, where are we? I'm building that idea. So right now, I see that we're at a 71 level right now. Okay, interesting. We're at a 71 level right now. It looks like we have a weekly open level, right? Those one of the key price areas, right? Understanding what's important to you, the levels that are important to you. You want to know and understand, okay, my weekly open is here. Okay, we're at a 71, so we're kind of in a premium right now. Okay, you're starting to build a picture, right? And this is one of the things that I've struggled with initially before I discovered Goldbach. Building a picture, a narrative, a story on what price is doing currently, right? We're at a 71 level. It looks like we're in a premium. We're above the weekly open. Okay, it doesn't really make sense to get long here, because if I was a market maker, I want to get the best price. I want to push the price lower to find my good entry for a buy, right? Even though we understand that we're bullish, right? You don't want to just go long from here, right? Because what the market makers are going to do are they're going to push the price so they can load up their orders and then send the price going higher. So our first idea is that we're above the weekly open. We're at a 71 level. Okay, let's add another tool to kind of build another picture. Like, okay, what is going on here, right? Okay, so I'm adding a VWAP, a volume weighted average price, if I'm not mistaken. Um, I love this tool. What tends to happen is that the market makers love to push price into these levels, right? So they'll push price into these levels and they'll grab the orders down here, and then they'll push price the opposite way. So we're above the VWAP right now. So, okay, that further confirms that we're in a premium. Excellent. What else can we use to build a picture about what's happening with price right now? Okay. What let's go up in time frames. Is there anything above in price that we can kind of look at? Um Anything up over here? Let me see. Now, before the market open is the time to kind of look and see what's happening with price and kind of build a story around what's happening, right? Okay, so we're in this range right now. Okay, what do we see up here? We have, oh, okay, there's an order block over here. Interesting. So the level I'm looking at, right? The two levels that I'm looking at, 1, 2, and 3, there so happens to be an order block on a higher time frame. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so let's just mark that out. There's an order block above my 71 level, right? My GB level, right? Where price tends to react aggressively on. Okay, so let's just mark that out. Mark that there. I see my 71 level. Okay, so let me just mark out the important levels that I want to be paying attention to when price is printing. And like I said, this all happens before market opens, right? So I see my weekly open is here, my VWAP is here. Okay, so I'm interested at these levels, right? You can also say I want to buy when it gets down here, right? Right? Because if you want to see price push lower, right, for the market makers to place their orders, then I'm expecting it to go higher, right? And this is kind of how you can build your bias, right? We're still building that story. All right, excellent. So we have our key levels that we're looking at, that we're interested in. We're building the story. We're kind of in a premium right now. So we have our levels. Let's see how price behaves as the candles print, right? Oh, interesting. The levels that we marked out, the GB level that I had here at the zone where I was interested in a sell, it got hit 1 minute into the market open. Interesting. And the order block that I marked out on the higher time frame also got hit. Interesting. It's almost like price is respecting the GB levels, and it's also, if you want to connect it to the PD arrays on ICT, in ICT's terminology, you can kind of start seeing, okay, I can build a story and I can build an understanding on why and where I should be getting into price. So let's see what happens as these candles continue to print. So the price rejects it, tries it one more time, and then fails. Interesting. So now I'm interested in shorts because this was my level for shorts, right? I wanted to see a turn around this level. We get a turn around this level, taps into the order block, displacement. So now you can start perking up your ears and start thinking, okay, now may be time for me to enter, right? I get entered in here, right? And at this point, you can use any means to form your trades, right? Right? And what do we say? We want price to go down because we're expecting it to go back up, right? This is kind of how the order blocks are formed on the lower time frames. It's very difficult because it happens so quick that you think it's gonna go down forever, but that's not what's happening, right? There's pushing price down on the lower time frames to build an order block going back up. So let's see how this plays out, right? Taps the level and price dumps into our key area, right? So we have our weekly open that it's chopping around in. And again, this is our level that we're interested in shorts at, right? And again, price is printing. And what do we have here? We have some liquidity. We want to see price sweep these, push this down, and then bang. Price sweeps the liquidity. It's in our area of interest, right? In our area of interest during the macro time. Hello? What are we looking for? We're looking for longs. That's correct. And this is where I took my entry. Back up because I knew we were bullish for the day, right? So this phenomenon occurs every single day, every day, every day, every day. Every day it occurs over and over again. So, I know I was long-winded. I know I was kind of taking my time, trying to go slow so that the community can kind of benefit from this because there's tons of value here. Tons. Okay? I didn't use too many indicators. The logic was very simple. You know what I mean? So again, I had my levels marked out before pre-market. It's just GB levels, right? Above and below where price currently is. I see if there's any PD arrays, an order block, a fair value gap, liquidity, etc. You can use those levels as a reference. Wait for the sweep, wait for the filling the gap, wait for that whatever, and then you can kind of look for your entry or for your buy or sell signal. That's all I did here. It's incredibly efficient, insanely accurate, and we cashed, as you can see, 4,000. This was on my funded, and then I have another account where I cashed another $1,500 on this, right? So I'm applying the same logic, the same advice that I'm giving you. It's the same things that I'm giving out for free. This is education that people would pay for, because once you grasp the idea of this, you can print money from the market. You can print it, right? So that was the trade recap for today. I don't want to make this video any more longer than it was. I answered a ton of questions today about the PO3 sizes, how to use them, when to expand, when to go smaller, why we expand and why we go smaller, or use smaller PO3s. Did a trade recap, showed you some proof in the Discord, showed you my funded account. Actually, let me go through the Discord and see who else cashed today. We have tons of people cashing today. My boy Ghoul cashed today. My boy Simo cashed today. He took the shorts and he took the buys. What else? Like I told you, I cashed today on the funded. This was me going back up inside the range. We all cashed today. Cashed. Right? And this, the same entry I was telling you about, same thing. Same thing I took. Right? It's the same thing. Same thing. My boy cashed big time. Know what I mean? My boy Tyrant, he's been cooking in the Discord. I don't know if he found me on my YouTube channel or not, but he's taking ping pong trades back and forth in the market like he looking like Kobe. Like, my boy is cooking like real Chef Boyardee things. I'm saying. So, my boy Richard, he cashed today. Like, yo, what are we doing right now, man? We got the hottest Discord right now. No cap. No cap. Man, we doing great things. I'm proud of the people in the Discord, man. They're coming, they're applying the tools, they're learning the lessons, and they doing the damn thing, man. Word. So, I won't make this video any more longer than it is. Thank you for watching, and happy trading, folks. Happy trading.